Hey everybody, Dave Clark, aka Pattern Guy. Hey, I'm up here in the Foundry today. Gonna do a little pouring. Hopefully, ribs are still killing me. I came up here last week sometime, I forget how it was, made a couple molds and it whooped me. So I got the 2 molds that I made the other day. Forgot I brought the camera down here. I started making another mold just now. I don't know if you remember me telling you about these. I'm going to make some prototypes for a friend of mine. She's a physical therapist, and these are going to go on tricycle pedals. They're going to have straps on. I'm going to strap the little dude's feet in the pedals so that they can keep them on the pedals and pedal their bike, alright? See how that goes. Here's the mold. I'll take you down here real quick. Here's the mold I made. It's not actually perfect. I got a little bit of a breakout there, but die grinder, you know, this is a little bit of a breakout right here too, but same thing, that'll actually just end up cutting off, okay? Now this one over here, that's gonna be a baffle for an older motorcycle engine for a buddy. So those are those 3. They're going to be made in aluminum. We're going to do an aluminum pour first. The other thing I'm going to do for myself, I got, like I said, I don't want to get into the flask business, but I mean, like that little motorcycle baffle, I could probably do it in a flask this size, right? So I made a few patterns for a solid flask. We're going to see what we can do with these things today. I did bring this down the other day. I was having a hard time molding it. It's pretty deep. Like I said, there's mold wear in. Sometimes you do 2 or 3 molds before you get a good mold. So I've done 2. I actually put I just had the primer on it before. I don't think it was slick enough. So like I said, this red paint from Freeman, it's like plastic, you know. So we'll see what we can do with this. See if I can get good mold. I want to try to get 2 good molds off of this today so I can make 1 flask, okay? And then I got to make a couple cores, so I'll show you how I mix up the sand for the cores and see if we can make a good mold and do a pour. If I can last, I just made that one mold kind of tuckered already. So I would like to, I got to make that little brass Y pipe, that little prototype pattern that we made the other day. I got to get something going for that guy, otherwise he's going to just take off right away before we even get going with him, because it's been a couple weeks. So I'm going to try to do a little bronze stuff too. Definitely not going to melt 80 pounds of bronze to pour that casting. It's going to be a few ounces, okay, even with gating. I doubt it'll be a whole pound. So I got a couple other things for banding I got to do too, so I'll see if I can get a couple of those molded. I've got some cores already made for that job in that, so we'll see how we do. I'll keep you going as long as I can here and that. I want to try to get some stuff done, so sit back and let's see what we can get done today. All right, catch you guys in a minute. Okay guys, back. I'm going to show you how to mix up some core sand. This is my mixer. Customer of mine actually gave this to me. It's kind of in a little bit messed up shape when I got it. It's still not the best. I mostly just did cosmetic stuff to it. Ran into a guy that said he might be able to help me fix everything else on it and that. But one of the things is that the bowl's not, it's not working that great for me because the bowl's not the correct thing for the mixing paddle. Okay, so it gets to the point where it's kind of hard to mix, so I got to mix by hand a little too, you know. But hey, it's something to get started with. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I just got to make a couple little cores today, so I don't want to make a whole bunch of core sand because it'll just go to waste. Okay, I use sodium silicate, and what happens? It's just I use CO2 to gas it to harden. However, you know, if you just leave it out in the air, it'll, you know, harden, so we don't want to. I actually made this batch like literally probably about 2 months ago. There's still, I mean, it's still, I probably could use this, but there's a lot of lumps in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make a fresh batch real quick, because like I said, I gotta make some real small cores. So It's just not worth it. I got a couple big cores down around. I'm just gonna keep this hanging around. We'll see if we can use it. I'm not sure. Probably won't be able to use it, but what the heck, you know? If not, I'll just make up some more. So there's different formulas for the CO2. It depends on like the strength of everything, strength, how strong you want the core, how quick it'll set, things like that, right? So I use the little stronger formula every time. Okay, so how you do the sodium silicate is you weigh the sand per pound. Okay, then when you add the sodium silicate, it's like a syrup. I'll show you that in a second. That goes to liquid ounces. Okay, so there's a formula. Like I said, if I get Joe up, we'll hit Joe up and I'll show you the formula for that if I remember. Okay, but we'll get it to you. And like I said, if I've yet to talk to my Foundry supplier, I had talked to him at one time and we were trying to get something going where he'd sell the backyard guys at smaller quantities and that, so that you know, we could start affording things. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because it's, you know, you look on websites on small Foundry supply stuff. That stuff's just so horrifically expensive. It just deters people from getting into the hobby. You know, I'm doing this a little bit more for a hobby, so, you know, I hope other guys will down the road. You know, we gotta get the foundry industry back in this country here, so that's why I'm doing this. It's vital. I don't care what anybody says. So what we do is I ended up, I mixed, there's 4.5 pounds of sand in here, okay? Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 4 ounces of sodium silicate in here, okay? And I don't know if you saw the Foundry tour. Yeah, this is a lemonade thing, but a buddy of mine, or one of my customers, I did a little job for him, and instead of, you know, it was like a $20, $30 job, so instead of doing a $20, $30 job, what we ended up doing, he gave me a gallon of sodium silicate. Okay, so I got some cups here. These are my, we'll get a new one, get a new clean one here, all right? And you know, these you probably get these things anywhere. Like the guy that I got this from, he goes to little thrift stores all the time, gets this plastic like cup measuring cups with the things on them, and then he cleans his out in that, but it's not worth it to me. I get these at like I say, when I go get Bondo and I get primer and that for the patterns, I go to a auto body supply shop. These are like 50 cents, something like that, and I'll use these quite a few times. All right, so here's I'm gonna find out where. Here's so many numbers on this thing. There's some ounces right here. All right, so like I said, I gotta put 4 ounces, liquid ounces of the sodium silicate in here, okay? So there we go for that. And then this is the way I do it, I always do a little bit more also, because what happens is, you know, it doesn't all come out. This is kind of syrupy consistency, so it's not all going to come out, you know, so it's, I put a little bit in because I don't want to sit there. I'll just sit there and let that run for a little bit. But once I mix that up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in this airtight container like that one. That one had some holes in it. Actually, I think this one had some holes in it, but, you know, whatever, it'll work for a little bit. So I'm going to do that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some cores for the for this thing here. I just molded one of these. I wanted to make sure I could mold one here real quick. So these are cores right here. Here's the core box for that. Okay, so I got to make 2 cores per mold. Okay, so I want to make 2 molds, so I got to make 4 cores on this. Okay, and then I got to make a couple other cores. We'll show you those as I'm doing them too. All right, hang tight, guys. Okay, reining this in the mixer a little bit here. So what I'm doing is, I don't know if any of you guys ever baked out there, but you know, when you're mixing in a mixing bowl like this, you got to take the spatula and get the side. So that's basically what I'm doing here. Just doing it by hand because this stuff sticks to everything. I want to have a bunch of tools to clean up, and they just won't last anyhow. So I'm going to mix it one more time. Okay, and we'll give her one more mix here. And you kind of got to hang on to this. Like I said, it's not the right size mixer, but for the price of this, I can't complain. I had to buy a new bowl for it. So the bowl nobody ever cleaned. Actually, what this was, this mixer was in a Foundry, and one of my customers went to a Foundry in town, went out of business, so he went to the auction and got a bunch of stuff. And he said literally this thing was sitting there after the auction, nobody bid on it, so he got it for nothing. So that's why he ended up giving it to me. And we, you know, like I said, I fixed it up a little bit, so that'll be good. It's gonna, you know, help me out quite a bit. He's helped me get started here. So we'll just put this in this airtight container, and I gotta clean this table off. This is my core making bench. It's pretty dirty right now, so we're going to clean it off before I get started here. Okay, you can see too, I got a glove on. You don't need to have a glove. Okay, the sodium silicate. Oh, that was loud. The sodium silicate's it's non-toxic, so or it's supposed to be, right? But my fingers, working in a wood shop, my fingers get cracked, and so I got a lot of sores on my fingers right now, and I just don't feel like having chemicals that are supposed to be good in there, you know. So let's be on the safe side here, right? Let me get this set up and I'll get back with you. Okay guys, I don't know if you could see me cut my head off here. Here's the sand. Here's my core box. I gotta make 40s, okay? So all you gotta do, put sand in, and this has gotta be packed really good, okay? Because the harder you compact it, the stronger the core is gonna be, okay? So if you just throw sand in here, strike it off, it's kind of fluffy, brittle core, okay? So we wanna make sure, you know, this gets all packed in there pretty tight, okay? So, it's a short, small core. I'm just using my one spatula here, okay? You can use the end to make sure it's compact here. Okay, usually this is a smaller core. Real shallow, it's only 1/4 inch deep, okay? So I don't have any kind of a release on it or anything. Traditionally, they don't really use releases too much for cores, okay? And then you dump tons of the sand all over the years, you know. I like to try to just keep it as best I can. All right, put my lid back on. Okay, so this is hooked up to my CO2 bottle here, okay? So I made this plunger here, okay? So it gives me like a bigger volume, okay? I also use just this regular nozzle for small ones. I gotta do a smaller one later. I'll show you where I put this on, okay? But this, I'll be able to put over this, harden this whole thing, okay? And like I said, down the road, we'll do this. I've got a plastic from Freeman. It's like rubber, it's like a silicone plastic. So one day I want to turn some stuff up on the lathe to make different sizes of these for doing this, okay? So that'll be a project. I got a ton of projects I want to do. It's just trying to get to them all. The other thing a lot of times too, if you do like a bigger core, deeper core, I use like a rod like this, okay, and I'll put holes through it, and I'll show you that. That would be something for like this core box right here, okay. I'll take this rod and I'll poke holes in it, and, you know, so I can gas way down in there. This is only a 1/4 inch deep, so we should be pretty good here. Hopefully see what this looks like. I mean, it doesn't even feel like it's put a little more CO to it. It usually shouldn't take but 5-10 seconds for this here, so. Let's see what we got. There's 2 of them in here, so what I'm going to try to do, it'd be nice if I had a board I could, let's try this. Let's do that. That's the thing, being where I'm at a buddy's, like I said, I'm about 45 minutes away from my house, so I don't have access to the shop, okay? So you gotta be careful with these things because they're gonna be delicate, but there's the course, okay? So I gotta do that another time. I tell you what, let's get these out of the way. I'll show you what we're gonna do with them, all right? Okay, so these are gonna go in here, and I don't know if you can see it, they're tapered backwards. That's like for a key so that the core, it gets set where it's gotta get set. Okay? So just set the core in there. Bing bang boom, and it actually looks like it's a little too long too. That's, like I said, these are prototypes, so looks like we're gonna have to adjust that, okay? So there's that. Bingo. Then you take your cope half and you put your cope half on. Okay, so I'm gonna make one more mold and I'm gonna make one more set of cores here, and we'll have hopefully 2 of these things, all right? Bingo, here we go. That's the last ones. Okay guys, I got 5 molds poured. Let's go see what we got, alright? like I said, it'd probably be easier to bust these apart, but I just don't want sand everywhere, so that's why I do this like this. Alright, this is the first mold, the first two molds. Okay, these are those, we're going to make the safety planers where you can put a piece of sandpaper on the bag, alright, the pressure sensitive adhesive. These they look good, all 6 of them. There's 3 on a board, all 6 of them look good. So that's, got 2 good molds. This next one's prototype, so we'll see. I'm not actually. The next 3 are prototype, so we'll see what we get here. It doesn't look too good so far. Yep, that oh, one of them's in. That's those little pedal things. This one didn't come out too bad. I broke some sand off, but that was the first mold I made off of that pattern too. So. That didn't look too bad. I'm gonna have to fish for the other shoe, but it's kind of gonna be nothing anyhow because it's I need a set. So, but we'll look for it anyhow. It's got to be in here somewhere. We'll dig it out later. Now these next 2, these are gonna be solid flasks. Let's see how these came out. There you go. It's got a little flash on it. A little rough, but I mean, for the most part. You know, here again too, these were the first couple molds we made, so that'll start getting a little bit. It'll clean up. Those are usable, or that one's usable anyhow. Pretty good too. So we'll have a set of little flasks here. Good deal. Yeah, it's a pretty good day so far. Get the cores, different sands. So get the cores out of here. They're garbage. Oh, you can't reuse them. Okay. So that first part of the day didn't go too bad. Getting a little tired, but I'm going to go ahead and do, since this sand is warm, I got a couple small bronze castings I want to try to get out. Okay, so that would be perfect since the sand is nice and warm. It's that little wide pipe with the real small, the thin wall thickness. All right, so I'll turn you off for a little bit. I'm going to try to ram some stuff up and get stuff going, right? I'll get you guys in a bit. Okay guys, I'm going to make a couple more cores here, okay? I'm going to use a different core box. As I was talking the other day, you know, we did a core box chalk top, okay? This is a dump core box. We just used this before, okay? Filled it up, struck it off, gassed it, just dump them out, okay? So here, this one's for little engines. All right, Manning Locomotive Works. This is a split core box, okay? It's split in half, right? All right, This is a 2-cavity. It's got 2 cavities. It's the same core. You know, same thing with this. This is 2-cavity. That just helps with production. Okay. So what you do, real quick too. I don't know if you guys can see that there's a couple little grooves there. Okay. So when I gas it with the CO2, the gas can escape. All right. It'll escape out the top too, but it's better if it goes out the bottom also. All right. If you're doing bigger ones, there's some kinds of releases you can use. These are just, they go fine without any kind of release, okay? So just take a regular wood clamp. I get some cheap ones from the dollar store. If you guys get dollar stores around by you, I'm sure you do. I don't want to bring expensive stuff down here. They just get ruined, and it's not the best of neighborhoods too, okay? So about halfway full, take a wood dowel. Don't use metal because you'll scratch your core box. Okay, now tamp this down really good. It's got to be really tightly compacted. Okay, you want to make sure. Okay, and just keep on dumping a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. Okay, and just keep on compacting. Okay. That nice tight core. Otherwise, if these cores aren't tight, they're loose and puffy, like I just said before. It's when the metal hits them, they'll just bust apart, and you're not going to have the correct shape hole anymore, right? So just keep on filling this bad boy up until you reach the top. It's not that big of a deal because right where I'm packing right now, it's the core print, so no metal's going to hit it, so it's not that big. Keep your tools clean with this. It's thick. It's a bear to get off. Okay, make sure you put your lid back on, otherwise you're going to have a bunch of hard sand in here. All right, the lid's not the best here either. Right? Then always with this business, always have different kinds of little small wires in that, so you get a little piece of steel rod. Okay, now you put your fingers over, get it like around the middle. This we're just going to put one hole. That's about, you know, how wide we need. Sometimes you got to poke a whole bunch of holes. Okay, this will just be one. So and as I'm doing it, I kind of twist it back and forth. Okay, kind of drill it a little bit. Alright, you got to get it all the way down to the bottom. Okay, all the way down. Alright, and you pull it up. Okay, same thing over here. Okay, pull it up. Got a hole, it's going all the way down the bottom. Okay, and then I take my nozzle with just a smaller pipe on here, and here I go. And I cover it with my fingers as best as I can, try not to let the gas escape everywhere, but it's kind of fruit down. That's why I said I want to make a couple more, you know, different things like that, you know. Hopefully one of these days, like I said, I got so many projects I got to do, it's unfun. Not fun, not fun. Yard. Alright. For myself, I always make sure to turn it off right now. I'm done with the CO2. I want to come here next time and try to use it and it's empty. So make sure your gas is on. Alright, so yeah, we'll leave that for later. Alright, so just take something to hit this with. Preferably something wood or like an old mallet. And it just starts popping apart by itself, okay? So there you go. I got 2 cores. Alright, and then you do the same thing. Just grab it. They're pretty hard, so they aren't delicate, but not that bad. Just start pulling as you're tapping. Okay, here, this one comes There's some flash. I don't know if you can see the flash on there. Just, you know, rub the flash off. Okay, you can do it with your finger, you can do it with a tool. I don't know if you can see these. I got a whole bunch already done here. So, rub my flash off. Then what I'll do, I'm not going to show you how to do this. It's really easy though. I got a coating I'm going to put on it, right, but it's not ready to go. I got to thin it down and all stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat these. They're alcohol based. I'll take the torch them, and in doing that too, what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat these cores up a little bit, because these they're going to be bronze, and it's a real thin wall thickness on the metal, you know. So if I got nice warm sand now after we poured those aluminum jobs, these will be nice and warm, so that hot metal's not going to be hitting something cool. Okay, real quick too, one of the viewers asked me too at one point, like what temperature I pour things at. Okay, aluminum. When I was at Aero Aluminum, we used to have the pot temperature used to be 1440 degrees. Okay, and that gave the metal pours, basically what they had was open, what they called open furnace, and they just dipped the ladle in, you know, went over to the mold, so it was a little more hot, so that the molder had time to, or not the molder, I'm sorry, the metal pourer had time to dip it out, you know, get the dross off of it, and then you'd carry it over to the molds, and they'd be quite a distance, you know, and then pour. So they used to do about 1440. I'm kind of right now, what I do, when I got the package deal, I did get a pyrometer. They call it a pyrometer to measure the temperature. It's broken, so I've just been like, you know, yeah, it's good, you know. I'm not doing anything for the military or anything where it's really necessary. You know, if I get a mispour because it wasn't hot enough or whatever, that's on me, I guess, you know. But pyrometers, I can get one for a few $100s, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff I got to get first, you know. When I do the bronze, my one customer, he likes the same thing. 1440 for the aluminum, he likes to go up to 1840 for bronze, okay? And that same thing, you know, by the time he gets it out of the furnace to go pour it and all that stuff, so that's where he does the bronze at about. So, you know, once I get this thing going, like I said, you know, I'm all this stuff's not hobby stuff, you know, I'm doing this for customers. So, once I get really going, you know, I'm hopefully be able to get some more equipment and make it a little more professional here. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make a couple molds. I'll show you. Just hang tight, guys. Be with you in a little bit. Okay, guys. Next day, ran out of batteries last night at the Foundry. I didn't pour bronze. I couldn't get a couple good molds. I just started getting real tired in that too. So I just ended up coming home. Got a pretty successful aluminum castings. This is a little flask I'm making, 5 inches by 6 inch flask. Okay, just solid flask. I'm gonna start making these. I got a whole bunch of different sizes. I'm gonna start, you know, making these up and that. But they came out for the first time. They came out all right. I don't like the ears on these. I think they're too small for this. I'm gonna probably hack these ears off and make them a little bit bigger. They're pretty thick too, so might take a 1/16 of an inch off all the way around. These I'll be making available down the road, you know, as I get going here. And then these, I made a bunch of these. I made a dozen of these. These are for, you know, you'll be able to put a 3-inch pressure sensitive adhesive disc on these and chuck them up in your drill press or put them in your milling machine so you can surface smaller pieces of wood and that, so, or your glue up rings and that. So, you know, down the road I'm going to make these available. I got to find someplace. I don't have a lathe, metal lathe, so I'm going to need a metal lathe for this. And you know, right now I just don't have one available to me. I got a couple buddies that have them. I got to work something out with one of those guys or something. So, but anyhow, that, you know, fairly successful day. I gotta go back up to the Foundry, you know, as much as I can. I'll, you know, take the camera up there as much as I can, show you guys as much as I know up there and different projects. And I'm going on the cylinder job also, so I'll update you on the cylinder job as I'm going on. And then we did a chalk talk for kind of Monday-ish, should have been out like Wednesday. But what we'll do is I'm just going to do this one today. I think, see if I can get it up to Joe, see if he can get this out today. And then for the weekend, I'm going to do the cylinders again, maybe a little bit down to the Foundry. Get if I remember to bring the camera up there. So do something cylinders, Foundry for Sunday, and then next Wednesday we'll come up with the chalk talk for you. So I tell you what. Thanks for coming on down to the Foundry with me yesterday. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys hanging with me. If you guys can start subscribing, I'd appreciate it. Like I said, I want to be around for the long haul, alright? So everybody have a good one out there.
Hey guys, good morning. Hey, told you a bunch of times, I don't know if you guys remember here, but we live south of Cleveland in south of city called Medina. And yesterday I was outside literally in a t-shirt, and this is Cleveland weather right here. That's the backyard right there. Got a little creek going there. 4 inches of snow. Well, like I said, I was in a t-shirt. There's the truck. We call this the Antichrist. Let's walk up into the front yard. This is the front yard here. Four inches. That's the neighborhood. It'll be gone by this afternoon though. That's pretty cool. But anyhow, man, I tell you what, everybody have a good one out there. Take care, okay? Bye-bye.